The conference finals, they have begun. Yeah, we're down to 4 teams, Alex. You'll love to see it. It started last night. Oilers, Avs, game 1. The series with no goaltending. And to quote Wayne Gretzky, you got to play defense, man. Thought that was really funny, by the way.
Is that what he said?
He did, yes. He's like, I'm probably the greatest offensive player ever, but man, you got to play defense.
Oh,
he was like, no, this is amazing. This is greatness, but you got to kind of play defense, which I thought was really fun.
What I can tell you is Mark Spector was asleep after the first period because it was 3-2 at the end of the first period. And as his article mentioned months ago, and I'm still bringing it up because who cares?
He said, that's that. We're done.
It's a
3-2
hockey. Playoff hockey is a 3-2 game. So he was asleep after the first period.
See, it's okay because the Avalanche were leading. And they continue to lead. It was all scary at the end, but I mean, the Avs, first to 3-2. So if you want to bend it a certain way, I mean, it's all right. But that was a messy game. If you're someone who was at Ball Arena in Colorado, it was raining, by the way. Isn't that neat? I don't know why I pointed it out like a weatherman. I sounded like Ron McLean.
Huh.
Yeah, it was raining up. And it's just important context for the game. Yeah, there were how many goals?
It was raining goals too.
80s, Wayne Gretzky in the 80s, back in a series in 1980. No, we're not going to do that. Okay. Story of this game really is, I mean, I love how many games have the Oilers played where all 4 goaltenders played? Because it happened in the second round. Yeah. There was the game where Smith's been pulled a few times now, and he's probably cost his team 3 different game 1s, I think, so far. Because he had the giveaway in game 1 versus LA, allowed like 3 goals in the first few minutes of game 1 versus Calgary, and was yanked last night as well.
But it's okay, it's fine.
He's just 40. It's fun, but I mean, it was just a messy game. It was a fun game, but if I was a fan of either of those teams, I don't think I would have a full set of hair in the morning, unless I was already balding, which is unfortunate for those people. But.
And if I was a coach of that team, I'd be like, that was what am I supposed to like? It was similar to Calgary and Edmonton game 1, where it was like, guys, I don't know what to take from game 1. I've learned absolutely nothing other than the fact that McDavid, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Rantanen, Landeskog, like we can run through the list of star players on both teams are star players. That's what I left last night's game with, even though I didn't get to watch it live. I watched it after the fact, but I left last night's game being like, like, okay. Like it's not a bad thing. It's the reality of the situation. It was an 8-6 game. What am I taking? What am I supposed to take from this? Like you said, there was no defense being played.
It was interesting. Jack Johnson had a rough night. And I remember at the pre-show they were saying veteran players. Jack Johnson, who if Gerard didn't break his sternum or his sternum was not broken, guess what? Jack Johnson would not be playing right now. But he was not great. He was not great. Sam Girard, by the way, not Sam Girard, who is hurt. Bowen Byram, I thought was really good. Really, really good. You can see how special a player that is. And Harman Dial said he's going to be something special if he can just stay healthy, which is what story. It's really nice that I don't think a lot of us thought he'd be playing in the playoffs because of the concussion earlier in the year. You mentioned Rantanen, by the way, finally scored on a real person, not an empty netter, so that was huge. The car gets on the board, which was good for him because he was shut down in that St. Louis series. But should the goal have counted? It was a big talking point that he didn't have possession. It apparently was not. What's the term? It wasn't a delayed offside, apparently. And the argument was that he doesn't have possession as he's crossing the ice, which I don't buy. By the rules, Alex, that apparently was the right call. But what I want to ask you, by principle, for the good of the game, should that goal have counted?
Well, I mean, like, I guess it depends on how you look at possession of the puck. I guess is what is the sticking point here. Like, obviously it's not like NHL 22 where like if you have the puck, you got the red ring above you or whatever. It's just, I mean, I'd say it was offside. Like but again, like, I guess the sticking point is what is, and I feel like we've had this discussion before, and I feel like it's not the first time on this podcast we've had the discussion of what does it mean to be in possession of the puck. So that would be cool. I know that'd be cool to know. I know a lot of people on Twitter, obviously it was a highly debated topic, even amongst players. I saw Carlo Koliakovo get into, talk about it. I think he was responding to a Tim Peel tweet. Again, like I thought it was offside. Clearly I'm wrong, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I'll read you some tweets here.
Okay.
Which can probably explain it more better than we can. In case you haven't seen it, first off, I would recommend watching a video of it. We can't show it because that's copyright. we don't own that video, unfortunately. I don't know if it's a public thing, but I don't want to take the chance because, if Steve Dangle can't use Leaf footage for an LFR, we are not taking that chance. Right. Maybe we can use Guelph Nighthawk highlights, but yeah, sorry for another day. So Eric Angles tweeted, "That is the worst one I've ever seen, ever. Makar is in control in the neutral zone, just ridiculous." Then Mike Johnson replied to him saying, "Eric, I love, when somebody starts it with your name, it's going to be good. Eric, that's not the rule. The standard isn't control. It is contact with the puck. You might not like how it looks, but it was absolutely and eventually obvious the correct call." Now, this is what then Bob McKenzie from the top row, from the shadows, the Bob Father, Batman out of the shadows, Gungy from Everyone Thought Being Dead. We're going to get the Gungy reference where we can. First off, he tweets, "Tag up." Great way. Second tweet, Makar pushes the puck across the blue line with Nikushkin. Ever seen that video of Tyler Sagan and JV Ben trying to say Valery Nikushkin's name? Really funny. So anyway, with Nikushkin inside the offensive zone, but Makar doesn't touch the puck and cross the blue line himself until Nikushkin exited or tagged up. Easy call, in my opinion, not offside. Retired insider turned booze mogul was yelling at TV replays to run the replay further to see when Makar touches the puck and when Nikushkin cleared. So he have clear possession? Because if you look, the puck is on it's not flat as he's entering the zone. So it's funny, Alex, that you mentioned how we talked about offsides. I thought with all the stuff with goaltender interference and the Coleman kick, I was like, we'll have those discussions in the offseason, but it looks like the offsides have calmed down.
Mm-hmm. And did you say it on the podcast? I think you even said it.
I might have. Yeah. But it was a thought of mine. And then the NHL said, no. Listen, that to me, I thought the Avs were lucky to have it. I quantify that is offside. It's the thing of the common sense rule. My favorite saying to use is, listen, if he pushes it, that's still contact with the puck. That's him, at least in my books. There aren't any Oilers straight around him there. That is still him and his actions putting the puck past the red line. Sorry, the blue line. What am I thinking? Past the blue line. And if it was past the red line, then we don't even have the discussion. But I don't like that they counted, and I'm rooting for the Abs. I didn't like it. I don't think that is a goal that is good for the game. Imagine what's the thing of if you're a new fan watching that, how do you justify that is a good goal and then unjustify what isn't one afterwards? You know what I mean? I couldn't find it, but there's a fan of the show. His name's Gus. I think it's Gus Galloway. I was talking about this with him, and I could swear there was a goal like this where Nick Suzuki had a sort of fumble on it. I thought at the time he didn't have full possession as he crossed the line, and I swear they called it back. I couldn't find it, but obviously then I think there was a goal where Michael Bunting was still in Arizona where it was called a good goal. I think Freeman was mentioning it. Man, that man's DMs apparently were horrible. I kind of feel bad for him. But listen, the rule says it's good. I don't like the rule. Funny, talk about Michael Bunting. Yeah, the rule says one thing. We don't like the rule. And hello, Calder Trophy.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been trying to look for the rule. I couldn't really find it. But like, is the rule not he needs to be in possession of the puck? Is that what the rule says?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Well, then Mike John, oh God, goodness gracious, hold on. I don't because the Oilers fans were complaining about this and they were sending it to Elliot. I'll see if I can find it and I'll screen share it.
Okay, it's just because if that's the case, if the rule is he needs to be in possession of the puck, again, like I was saying before, I very much feel like, and I just actually happened because I was looking for the Carlo Koliakovo tweet. He happened to be tweeting about it too, where maybe we need to look at a way to rewrite some of the rules so it's a little more clear. And it even got the okay from Ray Ferraro. So I'm going to just read Carlo's tweet real quick. I think rewriting or rewording the NHL rulebook should be a priority this offseason, so the game of hockey can stop being so complicated for some. There's been enough controversy these playoffs that warrant it. Time to get it right. I'm so happy people are on board.
You know what I didn't like is I think it was first intermission, that was the big talking point. Right. And then I think with second intermission, Ron McLean was more explaining it. And I appreciated he explained it. And I don't think he meant to sound this way, but he kind of sounded like a school teacher explaining it to a kid. And I was kind of like, I don't like how this is being come across to me. So here's what I found some of the stuff here. Section 110, subsection 2, I think is how you would say it. 2 eyes. I don't know. The defending team passes or carries the puck into the neutral zone. Okay, then if during the course of the delayed offside, but remember, this isn't a delayed offside. This is what the Oilers fans were saying. We're throwing it at Elliott, but this wasn't a delayed offside, but I'll continue. Any member of the attacking team touches the puck, attempts to gain possession of a loose puck, forces the defending puck carrier further back into his own zone, or who is about to make physical contact with the defending puck carrier. Is this some of the language in the rule?
Sorry,
right?
Why wouldn't it be delayed offside, though? Was he not offside?
So that's what I don't get is how wasn't it offside? Because I saw it because the puck left the zone and Nikushkin was still the other side. Or maybe I think it was what they were saying because they talked about this again on the 32 Thoughts podcast today. I'm not fully through it, but I think what they were saying was, I guess it's not delay. I don't know. I think maybe they were saying because maybe Makar doesn't have full possession when he's.
No, but why isn't it delayed? Why isn't it to begin with a delayed offside? If Makar's on the other side of if he's on one side of the blue line and Nichushkin's on the other side of the blue line to begin with, that's why. Okay. Why isn't it a delayed offside? If they're on opposite sides of the blue line, maybe I'm missing some facts here, but. That's what I'm unclear of why it wouldn't have been a delayed offside to begin with.
Alex, I am more confused the longer we have this conversation.
Okay.
And I think this isn't me saying, Alex, you're not explaining it. This is the problem with this entire goal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree.
It doesn't make the game. I don't love hockey after this kind of review. But just some other points from the game. Darcy Kemper leaves. Originally, I think it was at the start of the second. He was really late coming back to the ice. There was some equipment stuff, but he ends up leaving due to injury. Jared Bednar said he may play tomorrow, but at the same time, he doesn't know how long he's out, which is concerning. Obviously, he left the Nashville series after he had that stick to his eye.
Yeah.
People were talking about, especially Kelly Rudy and Jennifer Bottrell, that he took some shots up high. So is there something with his eye? Is it a concussion? But if it's a concussion and he can't technically play tomorrow, or maybe that's why they're waiting for clarification, kind of like what happened with Crosby, how they thought it was a concussion, and it turns out it wasn't, but I don't know if I believe that. But to each his own, which is concerning. If you're Jay Woodcroft, do you go back to Mike Smith, or do you go with Koskinen, who I don't think was bad in relief?
Okay, so that's where I think you have to make the decision on what was better last night. Was it Mike Smith? Or because I feel like when was Mike Smith was last pulled game one, right? Game one of Calgary at Edmonton.
I think so. Yeah, he allowed the quick goal again in game two, but I think they stayed with him.
And game two, they went back to Mike Smith. So again, I saw Jay Woodcroft's quote today saying he still believed in Mike Smith, but we're not sure of game two, which to me kind of caught me off guard, because I'm like, do you believe in him? Or because if you believed in him, you would start him in game two. But again, this could just be some playoff coach mumbo jumbo throwing quotes out there, because noted tellers of truth NHL coaches, as hockey Twitter tends to forget. If that's the case, like my guess is they go back with Smith. I don't see we've seen this in the past. Don't see why now all of a sudden we'd get the change.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I'm concerned with Francouz. He's a guy who in the playoffs hasn't been amazing. Like regular season, I like what he's done, but I think he came in at some point. Was it last year or the year before? And he was not great, if I remember. I can't remember the exact series, but I vaguely remember there's a series where Francouz came in and he wasn't amazing. And I mean, he didn't lock the game down. Now, then again, the refs, as Will very nicely put to me, put their whistles away for Colorado at the end of that game, and the Oilers sort of got a good chance there. Like there were some calls that I think Colorado should have gotten their way. Then again, there were some high sticks in that they got away with to start the game too. The officiating was a little inconsistent. Technically it's been consistently crap.
Wait a second. Are you suggesting NHL refs aren't good?
Best in the world, Alex.
You know what?
Come on.
Let's call Gary Bettman.
Never lie to us.
Exactly. The NHL commissioner, teller of truth, would never lie.